good. Awesome. All right. We'll just start with the first point. Again, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you very much for including me in your program.
No, again, we love it, and the show was unique to say the least.
I appreciate that's very generous of you. Very kind feedback. I was very thankful with how people responded. I think they made the show. They made it into a party.
Yeah, well, that was the one thing I was really impressed with. I've seen the video, a lot of videos you online were like giant crowds, and then it always comes down to like really like the crowd you makes it. Like I think it's really something that you can connect with them so much that it's almost like instantaneous. They feel you're a friend, and then they full energy.
That is very humbling to hear you say that. I felt the same way. It really blows my mind because it's not like I could do nothing and it would be a good show. But in a way, I feel like the enthusiasm that they're bringing to the room almost kind of crashes over me like a tidal wave, and I can either roll with it or I can get drowned.
Yeah.
So I try to surf with it and just let them lead the way. With a show like that, it's not really even a show, because when I think of a concert or performance, you're kind of pushing out at an audience. They're there to receive, but I am receiving them. They are, I'm an audience member when I watch them. And there were some very good dancers tonight, some very enthusiastic singing. I probably had some of the best singing. You heard that, Crenshaw, right? Those Forevers.
Yeah.
There's a particular song, the second song we played, people were singing fantastic. So all of that is appreciated.
And I mean, this is the third year, I believe, of the Christmas tour.
I'm glad that you're familiar with that. I was wondering that myself. I mean, I've done these style of shows quite a bit, but you're right. This time of year, specifically in this region, I think this is the third or maybe even fourth year. And it wasn't meant to be a tradition. It actually happened, I would say, very organically, where we just got asked back to the same area in the same time of year. And then by this time, I said, wow, this has actually become a tradition. I think third time or fourth time's the charm.
So do you, actually, bring it back to what you said before with the wave crashing over you. I know, like, recently you had an article for the Village Voice where you were asked if someone, like, do you still have anxiety or fear, like stage fright?
Stage fright, yes.
It's like, I think it kind of comes back to that what you said with the wave washing over you, where it's a big choice in a lot of people's lives, where to drown to that fear and anxiety can come from a million factors, or to try and use it.
Yeah, it's a very, very good way of putting it. Thank you. Thanks for being aware of that recent column. Yeah, it's like a wave, and it will drown you, or you can surf it. You can harness the energy of the wave like a surfer does and use it to propel you forward, or it will destroy you. So you might as well use it. Today I didn't have stage fright. I had stage rage, which is another phenomenon, equally and perhaps even more debilitating, although the rage, perhaps even more so than fear, can be harnessed in a powerful way. And I definitely tried tonight, with frustration, technical problems. But the thing is, you can never blame technical problems for your own poor show. And that's the most frustrating part about it of all, because it's still all up to you. You can't give in to that. If your mic's not working, you still have to sing. You can't
and it can be really easy to say, my mic was off, like
exactly.
That's what messed me. It comes really natural when you have those complications.
Exactly right. The stage is slippery. Well, then use it. Start doing a dance that involves slipping or something.
Yeah.
You're faced with a million moments of like, do I give up? Do I give in? Or do I just give something? And that's why, again, tonight, with a crowd that was so generous, I could not have done it without them. That's for sure.
Actually, one thing I noticed, and I'm not sure why I didn't pick up sooner, that you really love intros. You love like drawing out the intro to like that maximum moment. Like it's the one of the more, I think, infamous videos with you is that video from you from the Gathering of the Juggalos, where like everyone's throwing every kind of beverage can they can think of. You're just pinwheeling your arm, like just drawing that out, like really feeding off that kind of energy.
Well, thank you again for being familiar with all this. I appreciate your research. It's funny, that show, that wasn't actually meant to be an intro. That was, again, like a massive technical problem where my keyboard just never made it to the show. Now, I'm not going to say whose fault that was or that it was intentional. It just, all that matters is I didn't have my keyboard. So what am I supposed to do? And I didn't know that the keyboard wasn't there until 5 minutes before I was going on. There was no way to get a keyboard at that point. So do we cancel my set or do I just try to do something? And I tried to do something, and that's what you saw there. So whatever that was hopefully better than nothing. Definitely an intense experience.
I was gonna say, cause like I know people see a lot of those videos and they think, oh, he's loving it. He totally is cool with this. It's calm. There's no fear and anxiety. But like, in real honesty, that's probably like moments where the fear and anxiety is the greatest, where you have that big choice and it's really hard to push for sometimes. I imagine.
I was definitely freaked out that I didn't have my instrument because it's not like I can hide behind it, but it is a tool for me. I'm not like a great singer, for example, so I can't use my voice as my power, like my weapon or my magical, device. The piano for me that's the thing I'm best at. That's the one thing I can sort of turn to that I can give myself to and get a kind of result. So yeah, when that wasn't there, it's just, well, all right, this is going to be interesting. But there was never a doubt in my mind. I'd never cancel a show for anything. Doesn't mean you're going to do your best show. I mean, I've compared it to it's like if you're Michael Jordan, you can only play basketball. So now I would never compare myself to him in any capacity. But even the best basketball player in the world could only play so well if he had boxing mitts on his hand and was wearing flip-flops. He would probably still.
It'd be hard. Yeah,
he'd probably still do pretty good, actually. You want to be able to do your very best and have that the opportunity to give your all. And one of the most painful things is when you can't. You know what I mean? It's like trying to dance on an ice rink or something.
No, I mean, like you said, and then I think that kind of ties back to I wanted to just focus on the Village Voice column in general. Like I've seen like a lot of positive response from people who love the word you say. I think actually kind of surprised with how, I guess, eloquent the quote unquote party hard guy can be. Is how very well thought out and how well versed you are. And how did that even come to be, like writing for the Village Voice?
They just asked me. The Village Voice just asked me would I like to do a weekly advice column. And actually, I had done a monthly advice column in Japan for, I guess it ran for 10 years. And I don't know that they were necessarily familiar with that, of course, because it was in Japan and written in Japanese. But I did have some personal experience with that structure, receiving questions and trying to talk about them. I don't know that answer would be the right word. Because I don't know that I've ever really given someone an answer of what exactly to do. But definitely to talk about whatever is on their mind. That's what the column is about, and I try to do the best I can at it. I'm very thankful that people have written in and some people have read it. So it's a weekly adventure every week.
Do you ever get questions I don't say afraid to answer, but you think it'll be very difficult to talk about?
Difficult, but not necessarily in a very interesting way. There's questions that are so specific that it's just not really appropriate for me to chime in. Someone sort of asking for romantic advice, those are ones that are very hard for me to answer because I don't know the person's situation. Even if I did, even if Crenshaw here, for example, asked me for specific life advice, I should not tell him anything. I would probably tell him something intentionally to try to steer him wrong, just so then I could laugh at him. But that's very cruel. I would never want to do that to someone that I didn't know, only to a close friend.
And just one of the last questions I really wanted to talk about was, people say a lot that your stage presence on stage is an amazing persona, like full of energy. Is it a persona to you? Is like there's a separate life of on stage and in your daily life, or is it just more an extension?
It's task based. It's like when you're driving a car, you do certain things that you don't do when you're eating supper. And when you're eating supper, there's certain things you do or don't do that are differ from when you play piano or when we do an interview. So there's something tasks. There are specific requirements that come up when you're, playing a show, and that's what causes that to happen. But I feel like on stage, that's me at my best. I'm not doing so good when I'm not that up there. That's me. Hopefully, that's where I feel like I can actually be close to a good person, or have the opportunity to actually kind of get into that realm, maybe just inch a little bit there. Everything that's not at that moment is sort of in limbo and just waiting for a chance again to try to give my all. That's what I like about it the most, is that you really can give everything you have to that task. You can give everything you have to eating supper as well, but it's not as dramatic.
Yeah, plus you feel like, I imagine what you on stage, you give your all in a song, you get immediate feedback from the crowd, if they loved it or not, right then and there, I ate supper, fantastic, because everyone's cheering for the way I just sliced the steak.
Well, if you're a competitive eater, then yes, you'll have the crowd with you, and actually it is quite dramatic, but I don't have that eating skill. Although I've tried to develop it, I can guzzle water and eat maybe large amounts of certain candies, toffee, for example, but not in the realm of a competitive eater. Partying for me is as close as I can get to like the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
All right. I guess just the last one I want to leave off. I know people love your work. That much from the show is obvious. Do you have any big plans you want to talk about for any CDs, debuts, albums, or anything?
Just partying. Everything else will happen by its own will, and I'll just follow it. I've said things in the past, and then they didn't happen. And then a lot of the best things I ever did, I never planned. So whatever happens, I will just do it as it comes. And I am just very thankful to anyone who's gone along on this ride with me so far. Let's keep it going.
Yeah. All right. No. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
It's been fantastic.
Thank you for the great preparation. I appreciate the research very much.